Hey everyone, Dr. Nemesis here. Balance changes are coming 2/12/2018. In this round of balance changes, it looks like they're going to be working on the Mega Knight, the Skeleton Barrel, the Knight, the Bandit, Inferno Dragon, Dark Prince, and the Valkyrie. They're also going to be introducing the Mystic Archer. I'm covering this balance change simply because I've been playing the game since beta, and it's the same reason I started the channel. I just have a lot of thoughts and feelings towards Clash Royale, and I just need to get them out. I need to put them on a video, do something with them, as opposed to just talking to nobody about it. So hope you guys enjoy it. Let's jump into this balance update. The way we approach card balance in Clash Royale is a combination of playtesting, listening to the community, and looking at the stats. You can expect regular balance updates to keep gameplay fine-tuned and as fun as possible. In this balance update, we're taking a look at Mega Knight, Skeleton Barrel, Knight, and more. So, the Mega Knight, spawn and jump damage minus 25%. Deployment radius, deployment won't hit beyond bridge and river. Okay, deployment radius reduced. So the Mega Knight, I don't think we've ever gotten this big of a nerf to anything. 25% to the Mega Knight's initial spawn and jump damage. I think that's huge. That's insane. Skeleton count on the Skeleton Barrel is going from 8 to 6. The Knight hit points is minus 6%. Inferno Dragon switches between targets slower. Valkyrie hit speed from 1.5 seconds to 1.4. Bandit minimum dash range from 4 to 3.5. Dark Prince hit speed from 1.4 seconds to 1.3 seconds, and hit points plus 5%. The Magic Archer preparing for the arena. So I'm going to start at the top on these, and I'm just going to go over how I feel initially about all of these. The Mega Knight jump damage spawn and jump damage minus 25%. That's a big deal. If we go to the Mega Knight and we check his stats at tournament standard, when he spawns into the arena, he does 480 damage. So when he jumps on other characters, that's 480 damage. 480 cut in half is 240. So 240 plus 120, that's going to be 360. He's gonna do my math is all messed up somewhere right there. 360 damage ish, somewhere in there. I don't know. That's what he's gonna get reduced to. I don't really like that. I think that's kind of an unfair nerf, simply because he's not, I don't want to say he's a weak card. I think he's a decent card, and the only problem with him, I think, was the hit points. I think he should have had a hit point nerf, not a damage nerf. He already has a really hard time against tank killers such as the P.E.K.K.A. or the mini P.E.K.K.A. He has a tough time against those characters. So reducing his damage, I don't think that was the right answer. I think his hit points are what needed to be slightly reduced. Not increasing his jump damage, but just his regular damage, increasing that by a little bit would have been better, and lowering his hit points. That's just my opinion. I feel like his initial smash into the arena, that's what made him a legendary. That's what made him such an enticing card, and that's what makes you want to select him. So if he jumps into the arena and he doesn't do very much damage, then are you really going to want to use them? I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, instead of throwing a fireball at somebody, you're throwing 2 fire spirits or 1. It's, it's cool, but it's not all that. So I don't know. I think it was an unfair nerf. I do understand which deck they're trying to target right now. There is a Mega Knight, Skeleton Barrel, Inferno Dragon deck going around right now. That's been meta for about, I think, maybe a couple weeks. It's not even, hasn't even been that long, and for them to already initially target this one specific deck before people even got a feel for how to counter it, I just don't think it's very fair. But anyway, they're Clash Royale. They know what they're doing. This is just my humble opinion. The Skeleton Barrel reducing from 8 to 6, that's huge. I think that's a very, very big nerf to the Skeleton Barrel. I think again, the barrel, the hit points should have been reduced on the barrel so it drops faster. But I don't think the skeleton count should have been reduced. Now I just don't feel like it's gonna be very threatening. I don't think it's gonna be as viable as a card, period. I'm sure people will still try to figure out how to make it work, or what have you, but as far as 2 skeletons, that's a big deal. I mean, look at the 1 elixir skeletons. There's only 3 of them, and it's a really hard card to pick up. You don't want to pick it up unless you really need that melee unit or that one thing that you think might help cycle your deck with an ice spirit. They lost 1 skeleton, and that was that big enough for a lot of people to stop using it. Now, the Skeleton Barrel, they're dropping it from 8 to 6. That's a big nerf. I think that is, again, unfair, very big. I don't run the Mega Knight, Skeleton Barrel, Inferno Dragon deck. I know which deck it is, and I know how to play against it when I see it. I don't think it's fair that the entire deck got this massive just slam. I mean, Goizen was rampant for God knows how long, how many months, before they finally nerfed Poison and all that. And it was a while before they did that, and that's because that deck was just so absurd. Anyway, Skeleton Barrel nerf, I think that's just too much of a nerf. I think the barrel itself should have just gotten a few hit points knocked off so it can get taken out in the air a lot faster, and then the skeletons are just easier to deal with at a distance. Anyway, the Knight, hit point reduction 6%. I am very much behind this. I think the Knight he has a decent usage rate, but I feel like for 3 elixir and just everything, he's one of the most versatile cards in the game and just offers way too much value. I like the Knight. I use him a lot. He was one of my first cards to get all the way to max, and he's just so absurdly strong. A Knight with archers can counter anything in the deck, and that's because the Knight can tank everything. The Knight, you don't need to take a giant, because a Knight will get the job done. That's how absurd he is. You're running log bait. Who's your tank? Either Ice Golem or Knight. You prefer to go with Knight because he's more versatile and he can actually attack. So hit point reduction, I think it should have been more, but 6% is a step in the right direction. Where do I think he should be hit point wise? I feel like a rocket should kill him, or leave him with a sliver of health. If you rocket a Knight, he still has more than enough health to tank an Electro Wizard or a Musketeer for a couple of shots. So that's just my opinion on it. Again, like I said, Inferno Dragon switches between targets slower. I mean, does he need that? He's already so easy to distract and just counter, and I mean, for God's sake, bats hard counter it. An Electro Wizard or an Ice Spirit, they restart him completely. Now you're gonna make him retarget onto other stuff even slower. I don't think it needed a nerf. I think the Inferno Dragon is in a good spot. I don't think he needed a buff or a nerf. I think he's in a good position right now. Yeah, people pick him over the Inferno Tower. For obvious reasons. He's mobile and he can go on that counterattack, but he also forces a response from your opponent, which is what Clash Royale is all about, right? You shouldn't just sit there and expect your tower to do everything. You should always be reacting and counterattacking. So I think I disagree with the Inferno Dragon nerf. He already switches from target to target a lot, like very slow. And for it to go even slower now, I don't know. I'm not going to stop using it, but, it's one of those things that kind of confuses you. Valkyrie, hit speed from 1.5 to 1.4. I don't think that was enough. It was a subtle buff, but I think she needs more. I personally love the Valkyrie. I think she's one of the most underrated cards in the game, and I think she could have gone maybe 0.1 second faster. I think if she went from 1.5 to 1.3, that would have been the optimal buff for her. But 1.4 it's a step in the right direction. It's a good thing. I'm excited for that. Bandit minimum dash from 4 to 3.5. That's awesome. Simply because the Bandit, she got that bug fixed where she was dashing all over the place to exactly 4 tiles and then she'll dash. 3.5 tiles, I like that. I think it's great. I think it's a really good buff for the Bandit, and it'll definitely make her viable. She was kind of tough to pick up ever since the Ghost came out, just because the Royal Ghost, he doesn't need to dash. He just floats all the way up to his target and just starts wailing on him from there. So this is a good thing for the Bandit. I 100% agree. Dark Prince, hit speed, same thing, from 1.4 to 1.3. I think the Dark Prince I think he's always been a viable card. I think his problem has always been just the amount of damage he does. Granted, he does splash, but I always felt like his damage is what falls short. He doesn't do quite enough damage to where people want to use him. When you think of a splash card, you're thinking of a more of a defensive card. You want something that's very, that can defend against large swarms. The Dark Prince, his whole thing is he's an offensive splash card. So I feel like his splash should do a little more damage in that respect, because on defense he's not the greatest defense card, and considering that you have so many other options that do splash that do more damage, that's why he doesn't get picked up. So I think this is a step in the right direction, as well as giving him more HP. That's good too. I really like that. I think he needs it. I think he needs just maybe a few more tweaks, and he'll be back in it just like the Prince. But yeah, the Dark Prince, it's a step in the right direction. He definitely needed it. I think just a little more and he'll be there. Magic Archer, preparing for the arena. I think he's going to come out in the game, but I'm kind of disappointed with this. I'm disappointed that we have another legendary in the game. Personally, I run 3 accounts. I have my Dr. Nemesis account, which is I spend money on that every chance that I get. I have my regular Nemesis account, which is a completely, or I'm not going to say completely, but almost free-to-play account, where I spend no money on the game. The only money I spend on it are, maybe a special offer here and there. Definitely pick up the legendary chests when they come out. So, very minimal very rarely do I spend any money on it. And then I have my Mr. Sinister account, which is more of a trolling account. I don't really use it for anything, mainly to help fill up the clan chest. But in that one, I've spent no money whatsoever. I don't spend anything. And I just think that the rarity of the cards is losing its significance. Let me elaborate on that. When you have commons, they're the common, you get them all the time. It's something, they should have an initial use in the game. Commons should be your throwaway troops, or some slight support or something like that. Your rares should be more of a, this is a rare card, it's a beefier support, maybe it can win, maybe it's a win condition, but it's more support. And then epics should be your win conditions. I feel like an epic card should be what you turn to towards winning the game. And then the legendaries should have been just that one step above the win. They're crazy strong, but they're a legendary. They have to be dealt with, in a certain way. I feel like now Clash Royale is everything's in such a weird jumble, weird mixture of characters all over the place that it's all messed up. I feel the Magic Archer, I think this should have been an epic card. We're lacking epic cards in the game. It's bad enough, almost every update we get 2 new legendaries, or every update we get a new legendary. That's great, but they're also only the hardest card to get if you're a role player. They're one of the hardest cards even to just unlock. On my Nemesis account, just yesterday, the Royal Ghost finally popped up for me in the shop, and I was able to pick them up because I'd saved up 40k gold over the past couple months just from grinding battles. And I was able to pick him up in the shop. I was saving that gold for him specifically, and now I can use him in challenges, but he's pretty much useless on the ladder. And that's what, there's this 1% of people that when a new legendary comes out, they drop, 5-6 grand on the game to max out one legendary card, and they burn through. I've got freaking legendary King's chest, but and that's great for Clash Royale. You have to put away 40-50 grand, but for the rest of us players, for the other 99% of us, we're sitting here looking at this card thinking, alright, I'll upgrade it eventually, someday. I can power through a challenge with this deck, if I'm lucky enough to unlock this legendary, because they're a lot easier to unlock now than they were before. But now they're at a point where it's like, okay, now I'm confident I'll unlock a legendary. As far as leveling them up, it's a total pain. You're never going to be able to use it on ladder. So I feel like he should have been an epic, just to kind of help with that balance. I don't think he should have been a legendary. That's my only thing on it. It's cool, but just like every other legendary, he's gonna come out, he's gonna be super amazing, super great, he's gonna kick ass, and then 2 weeks later we're gonna get hit with a balance change, and he's gonna get nerfed to oblivion, just like everything else. I'm gonna do a full video on that, on the whole legendaries, and how I don't think some of them are legendary anymore, just because at one point these legendaries were released into the game, and they were what I call, or what I used to call, true legendaries. But they got nerfed completely, and now they're unlegendary. They're not a legendary character. They're just a character that's tough to level up because he's very hard to get. So, balance changes, again, you know, it's cool. We're getting a new card. There's that aspect of it. Do I disagree? Do I agree? I mean, I'm in the middle about it. I feel it's not a balance change that's gonna, you know, affect 90% of us, so I don't think it's a big deal. I think I am excited to see if the Valkyrie sees some more usage. The Dark Prince isn't going to see anything until they get him right where he needs to be. But anyway, and we'll see where this Magic Archer goes. Let's see how long he can be a true legendary for. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant. Hopefully you guys feel the same way about it. And until next time, bye.